Alrighty, everybody. It is currently Wednesday, February 26th, 2025, and I hope you wore your crucifix today, all right? Everyone get your signs of the crosses ready. Start hitting it. If you got a medallion with someone on, put it on, all right? We're talking Jesus, Mary, Joseph. The saints aren't going to protect you from this one. I do not have to wear a crucifix or protection of any kind because I am clearly one of God's favorites, all right? I'm definitely one of his favorite 5'6" incels. That's a statement of fact. I think I've got to be top 10, at least. You know? It's like all I did was get addicted to porn and start a mildly racist podcast. Like the rest of them are out here either being pedophiles or being the opposite of a pedophile, which is an elementary school shooter. So I think I fall in the safe category of 5'6" incels. You know, it's like me, guys who like scam crypto slightly below me, and then like the white supremacists, they might be above the guys who scam crypto, honestly, because at least they believe in something. But I'll put the white supremacists below the crypto scammers just to be safe on this one, and then below that, the pedophiles and the school shooters. And I'm up here. I'm on top. Only time I've ever been the king of the hill. I'm looking down on all those 5'6" incels. And I know God's looking down on me with tears in his eyes and his white smiling face, watching me be like, fucking Israel is gay. No, I'm just kidding, guys. I think God's watching that, knowing what the alternative is, being like, it's not too bad. You know, it's like every time I jerk off to BBW art compilation, God's like, that's just another day he's not getting the AR and going into the elementary school. So I'm sure God's hyped about that one. I'm sure he's up there pumping his fist. I imagine him making, you guys know De Niro face? You know how De Niro's always making that face where it's like a frown and he like squints his eyes, but it's kind of like, you know, I imagine God's up there making De Niro face at me every time I go into the new TikTok slut. Speaking of sluts, I've been watching a lot of Love Island lately. Love Island Australia specifically, which is, the people are even stupider somehow. If you don't know what Love Island is, it's basically, you know how like when you put tigers or like certain animals in like a super small cage, they like go insane. They like start pacing around and they just like do the same thing over and over again. That's kind of what Love Island is. You know, like it's just the hottest, dumbest sluts of all time and the hottest, dumbest dude sluts of all time, and they put them in this villa. I guess it's like this house, not even like a mansion. There's like one big room that they all sleep in, but it's like this house in like Spain, and the sun's just beating down on these pale white motherfuckers all day, these pale white sluts, and they just argue all day every day. It's the greatest television on earth, and they say the stupidest things you've ever heard. It really is great, and not like stupid in an outright stupid way, but like stupid in the way that you can tell when they say it that they don't perceive the world how a normal person would. You know what I mean? They can't process the world around them almost. That kind of stupid. And it's amazing. And the crux, I don't know what you would call it, the thing that creates tension on the show, because if you just let these sluts run hog wild and just fuck each other and stuff, still be interesting, but it wouldn't be that interesting. You have to put them in a situation where they feel uncomfortable, and because they're so stupid and so hot, they don't understand how to deal with the situation. And the situation is they just drop in like a tactical slut, dude. Just a slut comes out of a fucking plane with like a bandolier of condoms on into this villa, and you just have to watch all the retarded sluts try to deal with it, because one of the sluts is gonna steal the other slut's boyfriend, and then that slut gets kicked out, or they steal the slut's boyfriend, and then that male slut gets kicked out. And it's really amazing television watching these people try to understand like how social interaction works, because they're all fucking hot, you know what I mean? Or most of them. Sometimes you get like a surgery face in there, which I know some people like the surgery face. I don't like it unless it's on a MILF, you know? Maybe like a liposuction face on a BBW isn't the end of the world, but I don't like surgery face on like a young girl. A lot of them are surgery faced, unfortunately, but they're still hot. Let's call a spade, all right? But where was I going with that? Something about sluts. I don't know. I don't know. It is funny. What was I going to say? These sluts are like so hot that they don't know how to like, everyone is just always beneath them and serving them in the real world, that when they get when all the sluts, when the cream of the slut crop gets together, they don't know how to process anything or handle it. It's the greatest piece of television on earth, and I think it says more about the human condition than any fucking humanities class is going to teach you. I'll say that for a fact. Watching these sluts try to like, I'm just going to keep saying, it's not funny. It's just me saying slut, which is funny, but I do think watching these sluts like try to figure out how the world works, like when everyone isn't like, oh my God, like basking in their beautiful slut presence, it does make for entertaining TV. Speaking of sluts, we're talking about the devil today, dude. We're getting spooky. Like I said, let me do a real quick incantation for everyone. All right, today we are talking the Stull Cemetery. Stull, S-T-U-L-L. Stull, something like that. Stull. I'm trying to think of like the most accurate reflection of this town, because it's like a tiny town in like almost western Kansas. It's like out in the plains of Kansas, you know what I mean? So it's Stull. I think that's how they say it. Stull. It would be short no matter how they say it. It would be short and harsh, just like my penis. But all right, the town of Stull, goddamn, was founded in the 1850s and was originally called Deer Creek, which I mean, classic name for a town. You know, of course this town is gonna get haunted. That sounds like what's the name of the town in fucking Halloween? It's like Havenfield, Iowa, or some shit like that. Like that's like a good town that's gonna get haunted. You know, Miami's not gonna get haunted. You can just, unless there's a bunch of like Spanish ghosts walking around diddling girls with BBLs, I don't think Miami's haunted. It could be haunted. If Miami was haunted, it would just be by the thousands of ghosts, the thousands of ghosts of people who have died of cocaine there. And I feel like it wouldn't be haunted the same way Stull's haunted. Like Stull's like a sad, depressing town and fucking not even western Kansas. They don't even get like the title of being a Great Plains town. They're just like in the kind of shitty in between, just like a mud flat. That's where they're at. But the fucking Miami ghosts, those guys would fucking rule. They'd be a party. I feel like if it was haunted in Miami, you wouldn't even notice. You'd be so fucked up, you wouldn't even notice it's a ghost giving you that good dick. Or that good sucking, dude. That's where the ghosts of the Love Island contestants who die of a fucking Botox overdose at 24 go. They don't stay on Love Island. They go to Miami to diddle people, dude, to run around going, what's up there, huh? Ooh, I like that. That's what they do. They go and they be sluts in Miami, it's the ultimate goal. That's heaven for them, you know? It's like heaven for Muslims is like 72 virgins, gay and lame, all right? Heaven for beasts is Miami or Las Vegas or something, but Las Vegas it's too depressing. You know, there's not enough, because some people go to Las Vegas and they just gamble. It's not like Miami. People will go to Miami. If you're going to Miami, you're getting fucked up. I don't care what anyone says. If you don't want to get fucked up, you don't belong in Miami. Maybe you belong in like one of those suburbs where like rich Jewish people live, you know, like Boca Raton or whatever. You can go there and like chill on a boat or whatever. But if you're going to Miami, you better be prepared to put things in your body you don't even know what they are, all right? And I'm not talking just drugs. I'm talking, is that a dick or is that a really big clitoris? What is that? You better be prepared for that. I'm just saying. Prepared to put things in your mouth. The food as well. You don't know what it is. It's Cuban food. Cubans have been isolated for 40 years. They're eating the most wild shit. So you got to be prepared to put a lot of shit in your mouth you've never heard of. And if you go to Stull, you better be prepared to know this fun fact, which is that Martha Parker and Betty Laird speculate the name Deer Creek is an indigenous translation, or a deer was seen near a body of water. Which, I mean, Martha Parker and Betty Laird, put in your applications for Love Island right now, because that's where you belong, all right? If there's any observation that I can tell that this is just like a nice, dumb, even if she's not hot, just a couple of nice, dumb sluts, you can just trick them real easy, you know? It's this observation. A deer was seen near a body of water. What would give you that impression? Really, tell me how you figured that one out. I know it took some sleuthing. I know these sluts took like a second away from their busy time of staring at the wall and just moving their lips every 3 seconds. Not even to talk, just like a how like a fish moves its mouth, just like opening and closing it. I know these sluts took a big break from that to crack this case of how Deer Creek got its name. But yeah, fucking good on them. If you're listening to this, Martha Parker and Betty Laird, which those are very old names. These might be like some. If these sluts are from modern times, I think they belong on Love Island. If they're from the 1950s or like some shit around there, this might have been the most poignant observation of the 1950s. The rest of the 1950s was just filled with, I mean, pills. You don't even know what the filled with pills called lobotomy in a bottle. You know what I mean? That's what they were operating with in the 1950s. So if my speculation of these old-sounding names is correct and these sluts are from the okay, I'm going to stop saying sluts, it's old. But if they are from the 1950s, I do think this is an astute observation for them. But I can't imagine. You know, I'll give them even up till the summer of love. If these sluts, God damn it, I can't stop saying it, whatever. If they figured it out before 1969, I'll give them credit. Afterwards, I hope you married a rich man, because that's your only hope. I'm sorry. But this town, and they changed the name to Stull like pretty shortly after it was founded, or like once it became a real town maybe. But in 1867, goddamn, the residents of Stull raised money for a church and a cemetery. And I guess that's just how they did things back then, because these motherfuckers just kept raising money for shit. They just kept doing it, which I do. That definitely is better than the alternative, which is like some sort of giant faceless corporation comes in and makes a church, and the church is just, it's not a church. It's just basically like a house for retarded people to go to and then give money to a guy who's retarded but not so retarded he can't function, but not so smart that he can't, you know what I mean, break free of his shackles, break free of the shackles put on him by, he's like dumb enough to get tricked constantly into having sex with women that are like clearly honeypots. You know, he gets tricked into cheating with his wife constantly by the corporation who employs him. So I guess that is a better alternative, or that funding your own church as a community is a better alternative. But I mean, they just kept getting together and making money and raising money for shit. Like they tried to open a bank at one point, which that does reveal a thing about this town, that although the Wikipedia page says it was founded by Germans, I'm doubting that. If they're founding their own bank, if they're out in the middle of Kansas, if you've never been to like the middle of Kansas or the Great Plains, it's just flat and empty. And if you can somehow conceive of the idea to build a bank there, I think I know what you are. You're definitely not German. You might be a WASP. You might be like a rich, like East Coast waspy money type, but you're definitely not a German. The Germans they're more the church building types. All right, I'll say that about them. They do some other things too. They've been known to do some other things, but basically, they love religious institutions. Even if the institutions don't seem religious in nature, they are to the Germans. All right, I'm talking Nazis. I'm talking that weird, that crazy woke shit they're on right now. Dude, they're going crazy with it. I feel like, yeah, they went a little too hard left. You know what I mean? They went right, and now they're going too hard left. They're like, dude, you want to fuck a kid? That's all right. We've all been there before, dude. We've all wanted to fuck a kid. You want to fuck a dog? We're perfectly okay with that. Let's make a retarded guy our president. Like, that's what they're on right now. So the Germans are just filled with religious vigor. And I think that's why they didn't build a bank. I'm not buying it. Not buying it for a second. All right. And in 1922, they made a new church, and the old one fell into disrepair. And the new church the old church was made out of stone. And then they made a new one out of wood, which, I mean, that seems like a step in the wrong direction. I feel like stone's way better for a church. Like, in the way it looks, it's more of like a solid thing. You know what I mean? I feel like God is more likely to live in like some kind of stone thing. You know, God loves stones. What are the fucking 10 Commandments on? A couple of stones. Where did Jesus ascend? On a stone. All right? I'm going to say it. I think God prefers stones to wood. And that's because God don't, you know what I mean? He don't want to be interacting with wood of any kind. All right? God does not play that gay shit. So get back in that stone church. Kneel your fucking knees on that rock and pray to the good, straight, white Lord. All right. I feel like I'm going a little too far. I feel like a lightning bolt's going to come into my window at any point. Show me what for. Be like, dude, I'm fucking straight as hell, but I'm not white. What is God? Is God Chinese? No, there's too many rules in the Bible about not eating certain foods for God to be Chinese. If God was Chinese, there wouldn't be kosher wouldn't exist if God was Chinese. I'll say that much right now. God might be autistic though. He loves rules. He's a picky eater, it seems. He only wears certain clothes, you know what I mean? Like sensory issues and stuff like that. God might be he might be on the spectrum. It might be God on the spectrum. That might be what we're dealing with. But I feel like overall he does have to prefer stone to wood. If God is black, he definitely prefers stone to wood because he definitely doesn't play that gay shit. So I think no matter which way you cut it, he's definitely not Chinese, so we can stop the stereotyping there. He's definitely he could be black, he could be white, he might be Mexican, and the same thing as black. He definitely doesn't play that gay shit. And white people, you could rule out white, but I feel like his aversion to eating certain foods definitely makes it still a possibility. And God is a woman. I figured this out recently. I was looking at religious texts of old, and I figured this out, that God is a woman. And I know God's a woman because if she was a man, Adam and Eve would have shut their asses up and listened to what he had to say. All right? If God was a man, we wouldn't be dealing with this. He would have been like, all right, listen the fuck here. No eating that apple. He wouldn't have put the apple there in the first place, I feel like, if God was a man. If God was a woman, he definitely is trying to play like those weird mental mind tricks on people. God has to be a woman. There's no other. Now let's look at the no eating certain food rules. I don't know. Chicks are always being like, I'm going to eat a salad today. You know what I mean? So that we got that. Rules set in stone. God's kind of bipolar too. We're just adding to the reasons why God is a woman, you know? He destroyed the whole world with a flood, and then he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. No, like, you don't understand. I'm so sorry. I'm never going to do that again. All right? And okay, I'm going to go eat a salad now. And then I don't mean he, she like caused all like that drama in Mary and Joseph's life when she like impregnated Mary, you know? Joseph was like, what the fuck? And she was like, dude, Mary was like, I'm not kidding. And that's like a very female thing. Mary was like, dude, I did not cheat on you. I'm not kidding. God is doing this. All right. God is fucking with us. And I feel like that's a very womanly thing to do. You know, just cause needless drama in people's life. And I do think that would explain why she, ma'am. I'm a ma'am. I am not a sir. I'm a man. Man. That's God right now, dude. God's pissed everyone's calling her him. Because, I mean, I feel like the whole reason God made us in the first place is to have, like, her own personal Love Island, her own personal reality TV show to watch all the time. Like, oh, my God. The Ottomans are fighting the Greeks again? Oh, my God. This is so fun. I think we figured it out. God's not white, black, or even Chinese, or even Mexican. God is a woman. And it really, once you get to woman, race doesn't, it doesn't really count. And I was thinking about this too. Women kind of have their own culture. Like, obviously I don't talk to many women. My sister's really the only one I talk to. I tried to talk to my chemistry partner and she shut that shit down immediately. She was like, okay, back to the quiz. And I was like, I wasn't even, you know what I mean? I was like, fucking psychology's gay. Maybe that's why she shut it down. But anyway, women, like, every time I talk to my sister, she has like some new word or like phrase or saying that I'm like, where are you getting this from? This is like devil talk. You're speaking devil talk right now. You might have visited the Stull cemetery, which that is, I guess, a spoiler, haunted by the devil allegedly. But I feel like women have their own like weird culture of completely made up sayings. Because they're talking to they're talking to God. God's obviously, you know, is she a girl's girl or is she kind of a pick-me? I think she might be a pick-me. Is God a pick-me girl? She fucking made us strong as shit, dude. Speaking of Love Island, there was like, for some reason on Love Island, the chicks were like running around and stuff. And this does relate to God, so stay with me. And this does relate to God, but like the chicks, for some reason, they started running. Like, oh yeah, I remember why they were running. This new boy slut was getting dropped in, and they were like, oh shit, let's fucking go. And they were just like chilling. And then they were like, this boy slut's going to be here in 5 minutes. Get ready. And so they all ran to the bathroom to get ready. but the way they ran was just, I really can't remember the last time I saw a woman run, but they looked like, I mean, baby goats or something. I don't know how to describe it. It's like their knees had like a string attached to them and were just being like jerked up into the air. That's how these sluts were running. It was the running of the sluts to the bathroom to go get ready to be an even more powerful slut. But it's, if God's a pick-me girl, like my hypothesis says, it makes sense why she'd make women so unathletic, because it's like, fucking yeah, I'm gonna make the dudes more powerful because I fucking, you know what I mean, I want them to like me. So it's, I'm just destroying the Catholic doctrine right now, which is maybe not the best idea when I'm talking about the devil, you know, because God's definitely, if I'm wrong about God and God's like a Chinese guy, I'm getting unleashed on tonight. He's holding no bars. And this does, yeah, he's bringing Stull to me. In the old church, I don't know how to transition. It was finally demolished in 2002, but like, just like the structure of it, there's still a basement to it, which we'll talk about. And during the 20th century, 2 tragedies happened in Stull. A boy named Oliver Baumeier, it's some kind of German name, wandered into his father's burning field and died. And then the second one, not really so much as a tragedy as a dude just, I guess it's a tragedy, but he just kind of killed himself. It's not like mysterious or anything, or like, I don't know, this dude just killed himself. A man went missing for a few days and was found hanging from a tree. So he definitely was just having enough of it. You know what I mean? One of the 3 women in the town, who's his wife, somehow cheated on him with one of the other 3 men in the town, and he was just like, all right, I'm out of commission. There's one tree in this whole shitty fucking plain that we live on. I'm going to go hang myself on it. Fucking see you guys never. Peace the fuck out. And he did. It's seeming like he peaced out at the right time, because like pretty soon after that, all the devilish stuff going on. The witches and the ghouls and the goblins clawed their way out of the ground and started haunting these poor whites, these poor Germans in the middle of Kansas. And it is said that the boy, whose name is Oliver, by the way, so I mean, there's not that much of a loss there. I've never met an Oliver, or God forbid, an Ollie that was worth their weight in shit, to be honest. I mean, Ollie is just, it's such a horrible, insufferable name. Oliver's maybe just as bad, but both names have one thing in common, which they give off the vibe that, like, you never got, like, screamed at or, like, got a nice fucking, you know what I mean? Not like the shit beat out of you by your dad, but like a nice, you know what I mean? A nice whooping. That's what the name Oliver and Ollie gives me, which it makes sense why Oliver's doing this. It's said that Oliver will drag anyone to hell that steps on his grave. So either way you look at it, whether you hate the name Oliver or not, it's good that he died, because, I mean, if he's, the second he died, he starts dragging people down. Imagine what he would have done if they lived. That was divine intervention right there. God was like, all right, I can't eliminate this guy completely, like this little fucking bratty Oliver. I can't eliminate him completely, but like I can kind of take him out of commission, all right? Just don't step on his grave, all right? And that's definitely another piece of evidence for chick God existing, because regular God, dude God would be, he'd fucking, you know, he'd go blood meridian on that little kid if he thought he was, or he wouldn't, or he very well wouldn't, but, and just take him right the fuck out. But you know what I mean? Woman God, she wants to keep the drama going on, which it does add to our thing. You know what I mean? That feels like something out of a soap opera or something. Like he's dead, but he's still alive. If you step on his gravestone, you know? I feel like Woman God is really fucking with us on that one. And Oliver, oh my God, I've never met anyone named Oliver that I want to talk to or be around. And like, I feel like with the name Oliver, just people calling you that all the time, like the O in Oliver is so powerful. Like Oliver, you know, the O is so powerful that it like forms your face into like a perfect like circle. Or like when, you know, when SpongeBob became like round for some reason, like he got like that corporate job and his head became round. I feel like every Oliver looks like round SpongeBob, you know, just being called that all the time. It just like wears your face down. Like your body knows that the name Oliver is not fit for a human being, and it's like erosion. It just like wears it into like this perfect circular face of just punchability hitherto unheard of. I feel like that's what the name Oliver does to you. And it also, yeah, it just makes you completely insufferable. If you're an Oliver listening to this, Yeah, I mean, go walk into a burning field. I was gonna start out being like nothing against you. I'm thinking maybe you're just not meant to exist on this plane. So go walk into a burning field and don't drag anyone down to hell once you die. You know, I feel like if you do it now, it's like it's like how people are like pedophiles should just kill themselves. I feel the same way about Olivers, cuz as much as like Oliver, as worse as pedophiles are than Olivers, I feel like overall there's so many more Olivers than there is pedophiles that like their net negative is overall greater. You know what I mean? Their per capita is definitely a lot less, significantly less, but I feel like their overall is it just is it's a drag on society. It's an overall negative, which is yeah, I'm sorry, Olivers. Yeah. And speaking of, and I feel like this whole episode is like kind of it's a chick thing. It's a chick themed episode, which is probably why I'm thinking about God so much. It's like haunting and shit. I feel like maybe dudes are a little more into that, but chicks definitely love it. They definitely love the idea of like a hot pervert ghost watching them all the time. And they love serial killers too. And I can't get behind most serial killers. I can kind of get behind Dahmer a little bit because Dahmer, he was taking dudes out of the game mostly, but he was still drugging them and stuff, which is why I don't get behind him and shit. Like I can't respect most serial killers because it's like they're just like mostly killing like defenseless women, They're mostly like going up behind and like hitting them with a baseball bat. But if there was a serial killer that was like he just like put on a couple of brass knuckles and like went around like beating like power lifters and like UFC fighters to death, maybe the occasional bodybuilder, you know what I mean? If he was just like going around beating big ass dudes to death and big ass chicks, if he was like a skinny dude that was just wailing on motherfuckers till they died, I'd be like, and I have the same feeling about pedophiles as well. I feel like these internet pedophiles, I can't respect them. There's nothing, like what happened to like the good old days when a pedophile drove around in like a shitty van he got from his mom, who he probably like didn't kill but like negligently led to her death, like a van he got from her, and was just running around snatching up kids. I feel like I can, at the very least, understand like, hey, fuck it. You know what I mean? He sees something that he wants and he gets it. I might not agree with what he's trying to get, but he's fucking getting it. So, it's like protesters. Like if you ever seen like when protesters like block the road or whatever, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? You're just ruining everyone's day. This is fucking annoying. But like when a protester like they start cutting power lines and shit, I'm like, oh, damn, I don't know you libs had it in you. I thought you would have been climbing up that power line and that your grip strength would have given out due to the vast amount of soy you've consumed, but I guess you've got it, dude. Like I can fucking, you know what I mean? I can respect that. Same goes with pedophiles and serial killers. I don't know. I simply don't know what you want me to say. I do know what you want me to say, actually. You want me to talk about the mysterious, spooky town of Stull. And I'm sorry if this episode is not the best. I did take a chemistry test earlier today. I fucked it, dude. I fucked that one. One of the tests does get dropped, so I'm not too upset about that. But yeah, definitely not my best performance. This was like and it's not even like a flu game performance where I'm like sick or like super tired or something. I just cheated on all the homework and don't know what I'm doing. But I don't know. I felt that way on the last one, so it could go either way. Could be really bad, could be really good. I don't know if I said good 2 times. Like I said, my brain is pretty fried. You know what else is fried? At the town of Stull. Stull's church and cemetery are seen as one of the 7 gateways to hell. I don't know where the other 6 are. If one's in Kansas, I mean, they could be anywhere. I feel like Russia's probably got one. China doesn't have one. If China had a gateway to hell, they'd definitely go down there and like munch some demons. So I feel like there's not one there. Israel, somewhere in the Middle East, there might be one. Not in like one of the populated areas, maybe up in like the mountains or something. I could imagine one. There's probably one like deep in the rainforests of Africa. There's probably one in Haiti. Now that I'm thinking about it, thinking about the voodoo shit, there might be one in Haiti. Where would the other ones be? England? I don't know. That's like a whole country full of demons. So I feel like there could be one in England. And I think that's 6. Or is it? Dude, I have no fucking idea. My brain is gone. And I had to talk to a professor about creative writing. Dude, I don't give a fuck about creative writing. I'll creative write on a podcast by just being wildly racist over and over again until someone thinks it's funny. That's the only hope. but I will get creative when we're talking about Stull, all right? Some say the devil appears in Stull twice a year, once on Halloween and once on the spring equinox, which Halloween I get, but like the spring equinox, that's like an asshole move by the devil. I'm sorry. I'm calling Satan out on this one. That's an asshole move by him because you're missing. It's like he went to somewhere nicer. You know what I mean? He probably goes to like Hawaii. He appears in like Hawaii and then Tahiti and then like all like the nice warm places that are warm in the fucking wintertime, and he just skips over Stull, Kansas, dude. These guys are loyal to you. There's 300 people in this town, and somehow they made a gateway to hell, and you're just gonna fuck them like this by only appearing during like the good times of the year. I mean, it's just kind of a dick move by him. Like I just have to call him out on this one. Female God, if you're listening to this, and I know that you are, do something about it. Make him stop being such a fucking asshole. These people are doing all this work. It's a town of 300 people, and they've built multiple churches just for you to live in. They're all sacrificing their soul, and you can only appear during Halloween and fucking springtime, like the two best times of year in Kansas when it's like 60 degrees outside and it's not too humid. That's when you choose to appear. I don't know. I mean, the fact that he's going there in the first place does say something about him and his character, but I feel like, you're just skipping over winter completely. Kind of a dick move, dude. You don't have to enjoy it, but you have to do it, just on principle. I don't think they require more than 2 visits a year, but I feel like just on principle you have to make one in the winter and one in like the dead of summer when it's like 100% humidity, 100 degrees out. You have to put in the work like that. That's how you make this relationship work. Because if you don't, they're going to abandon you and just become like a regular, weird, incestuous small town. They're going to abandon you. I don't know. It's just a piece of advice I have. I should make this clear. I'm not actually talking to the devil. I'm just joking. I don't know. I'm fucking Catholic, so I do kind of smirk about that shit every once in a while, even though I haven't been to church in a decade. But still, I don't. Just want to make that clear. Hamada, shabada, hana. All right. Cleared the air on that one. So yeah, he doesn't. But when he does appear, he appears in the basement of the old church. That's the part that's said to be the gateway to hell, and so that's where he shows up, which, I mean, yeah, good on him for not making him build something too nice and fancy, but still, come on, dude. Give him 1 or 2 winter visits. He's kind of like a shitty, like a stepdad or not a stepdad, like a biological dad that's not too shitty, but not too great either. That's the vibes he's giving off, and yeah, I don't like it. I'm going to say it. Satan's maybe not the best guy ever. I don't know. But, and also, aren't deals with the devil and like Satan and shit supposed to be good? You know what I mean? You get something out of it. Anyone been to Western Kansas before? There's nothing you could get out of it to make Western Kansas like that good to like spend eternity in damnation. So give them something, dude. Open up a rainforest cafe there, Give them something. I know you don't want it to become like a big bustling town, but still, Rainforest Cafe, or maybe, I don't know, a Dairy Queen, or just give them something, you know what I mean? Not too outrageous, not like anyone's going to drive there just to visit it, but give them something worthwhile. I don't know, maybe like a free bar, like an open bar, that might be an idea, just like a permanent open bar, have it staffed by like a hot demon. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas here on how you can improve these people who work for you all the time. You can improve their lives. I don't think he's a good guy, though, and I don't think he's going to listen to what I'm saying. Please actually don't. All right. God damn. We've been going for 33 minutes, dude. I'm so good at ranting and podcasting now. I'm next up. All right. But another fun fact about this is when Pope John Paul II went to Colorado, he redirected his plane not to fly over Stull. And some people think that it's because of the gateway to hell there, the portal to hell there, when in actuality, there's just no elementary schools in Stull, so he's not interested in the town. That's the best one I could come up with. I was like trying to figure it out. It was like no kids live there. I don't know. The best one I could come up with was no elementary school. So, you know what I mean? He couldn't purr from the sky. He definitely flies with like one of those big ass like fucking telescopes that people buy so that they can look at Orion's dick or whatever. He definitely flies with one of those and goes, "Fetch me that boy." See that young supple boy playing in that field there? Oh, that one's burning up. That's no good. I will not be able to anally enter him. That's no good at all. But, yeah. But I think John Paul II was like the last like decent pope. Like he's definitely covering up some pedophilia, but if you don't know, this is some Catholic lore for you guys. Pope Benedictine the 15th or the 16th, I can't remember which one it was the one before the current pope. And usually popes stay popes until they die. A lot of them in like the Middle Ages got executed, I think, but nowadays it's like you stay pope until you die. And Pope Francis is sick right now, allegedly. I don't know if I trust that. I think he's just looking for some boys, and he's like, just tell these people I'm sick, all right? I don't want them to know I'm looking for boys in Thailand. But he is sick, allegedly. But anyway, Pope Benedictine the 16th or whatever his fucking name was, is the only pope that ever stepped down, or like one of the only popes that ever stepped down. And the reason he did it is because he was just moving the pedophiles from like one place to another and not like reprimanding them or like getting rid of their priesthood or whatever. He was just moving these for no benefit to him. Truthfully, no benefit to him. He was just moving these pedophiles around. And I think that's where like the big scandal came from. But I think Pope John Paul, I think he was pretty decent. I feel like he definitely he rode the line between like moving pedophiles around and being like and just abandoning the idea of the religion completely. I think he walked the line. It's a pretty wide line, so not too much credit to him, but I think he walked that line. And so he redirected his flight so he couldn't prey on those boys. But anyway, so he didn't fly over the portal to hell, actually, allegedly. If you go down the stairs of the basement, it will take you weeks to get back up if the devil doesn't get you first. If the devil doesn't grab you by your ankle and start gnawing on it like a wild pit bull, if the devil doesn't do that first, then fucking it'll take you weeks to get back up. That's like one of the legends about the portal to hell in the town. So yeah, I feel like I'd give up almost instantly. I'd be like, if I'm like walking upstairs or walking really anywhere and it doesn't happen instantly, I'm like pissed about that. I'm like pissed that I can't teleport all day, every day. I'm like, why the fuck do I have to walk somewhere and like think? I just plot me down to where I'm going so I can mindlessly like stare at a whiteboard. Why can't that be what's going on? Why do I gotta walk and just hear like the sound of the salt and gravel crunching under my feet? Which I'm not too upset about that. It has been warm up here in Minnesota. It's been like 50 fucking degrees, which is 70 degrees warmer than it was like a week ago. So I'm pretty hyped about that. But I've never been so excited to see mud. I don't know what those World War I veterans were bitching about. All right, dude? Mud fucking rules. Mud means that it's not negative 20 degrees outside. Which, if you don't know, the World War I veterans, and I know this because there's a World War I museum in Kansas City. It's like the National Museum, I think, of World War I. It's in Kansas City. There's like this whole exhibit, and you go there and you visit this place when you're like 7 or 8 years old, and it's like there's this exhibit that it's like dark and there's like flashing lights. It like simulates kind of what it's like to be in a trench, but it's like this life-size diorama of a trench. And like there's this guy like talking, narrating, and he has like this voice, and he's like, if hell is real, there's no fire down there, it's mud. And you just hear that when you're like 7 years old. It's creepy. Not as creepy as the Pope. Not as creepy as like, imagine your priest is a pedophile. He gets you, and there's like, all right, there's nothing we can do about that. We're just gonna move towns. And you go to the next town, and the fucking priest, that's where he got moved to. God damn, that would fucking suck. I'd go hog wild. I'd start fucking him, dude. I'd turn the tables. And that's the thing. If a priest, the reason the priests never tried to molest me when I was in Catholic school, because I don't know why they didn't, dude. I was a nice, chubby little boy. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's because I hit puberty when I was in like 3rd grade, so I looked like a man when I was in like 3rd grade. But they never tried to get me because they could feel the spirit in me, dude. They knew I was such a freak that if they were like, "Open your mouth," I'd just start going throat coat on it. So I feel like they knew that, and they knew to stay away from it. They knew even in 3rd grade I was praying and looking for someone to take advantage of, man or woman. All right, this is the last little tidbit of information I got, and no one's listening at this point, so fuck it. The fine for trespassing in the cemetery, which is like it's believed to be the meeting place. I guess the meeting place isn't around the portal, which I guess makes sense because you don't want to go to hell outright. You just want to like be on Earth and also have the devil there. So I guess it makes sense that the meeting place is in a different area. It's in the cemetery, and the fine for trespassing in the cemetery after hours is $1,000 and up to 6 months in jail. So yeah, I'm not willing to pay that price. I'm not willing to pay the price for anything, which is why I know I'm good on like in terms of making deals with the devil because I'm like I got to go to hell for the rest. No, dude, you want me to like make a fucking pentagram on the ground to talk to you? No. Fucking call me on Snapchat or something. What are you doing? But yeah, goddamn. That's all I've got for this episode. It took it out of me, dude. 40 minutes is the longest mini-sode yet. And I have this creative writing class that ends in 2 weeks. And so I'm thinking the mini-sodes, uh, after 3 weeks from now, because I'll probably do another 30-minute one for spring break. But the mini-sodes starting after my spring break are going to start being like kind of this length. Or maybe I'll put out 2 a week is what I was thinking. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I've got for this episode, guys. Hope you have a good day, good week, good year, good month, good semester. Hope you get that promotion at work. Sorry if I sniffled a little bit. I've been trying to like be mindful of like blowing my nose and stuff, but whatever. Yeah. Hope you have a good one, and I'll see you on Sunday. Hopefully, don't know what the episode's gonna be, but I'll see you there. Peace. All right.